tell them check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah. What is good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel. We're talking all things boxing. Remember to like, remember to subscribe to this channel. More content coming your way very, very soon. So right now I'm going to speak to you about two fights that took place over the weekend, a few days back. And that is, first of all, Michael Conlan versus Sofiane Takouche. And also Frampton, Carl the Jackal Frampton versus, I think the guy's first name is Darren Trainer, I think it was. No, the last name's definitely Trainer. Can't forget that name. That name is, it's one of them that, easy to remember. But anyway, so first of all, Conlan versus Takouche. That was a fight in which Michael Conlan was pretty much dominant. Pretty much he was running things from the bell, went just classy southpaw jab all the time, just dominating behind the jab. And one thing that he kind of introduced and he put into his game was the body shots. He was landing some good body shots as the fight started. From round one, he was already sort of digging down low and making sure that he's doing the work, as some say in America. I think Teddy Atlas says this thing about chopping the tree at the roots and all that sort of stuff, putting water in the basement when you're trying to, all that sort of stuff. So, Conlan was sort of he was chopping the tree, landing good shots to the body, throughout the first few rounds, just continually jabbing to the head, coming down with hooks to the body, either side. And there was a few points in there though where, from early he was sort of being warned about it, because unfortunately, although it was a good tactic what he done, go down to the body, there was a few of these blows that were straying low. There was a lot of his blows that he was throwing. A lot of them were good, were legal, fine, but there was a lot of times where some of his punches he was throwing, some of these shots, they were kind of going like on the waistline, on the belt line. There was some that strayed low and all this sort of thing. So he did have the right strategy, the right game plan, but he was making certain mistakes with his punches. Like he was they were kind of straying low bit by bit. There'd be a good one and land right in the solar plexus or right on the ribs or whatever, but then there'd be one on the waistband, there'd be one that's a little bit low. So he had the right strategy in place, but yeah, there was a few times where the referee was like pulling him up and saying, look, I'm gonna take points. And unfortunately for him, he did end up with I believe it was 2 points that got taken, and this came in about it was in one of the latter rounds. I think this was in about sort of between the middle of the fight and about round 8, so he had exactly 2 points taken off of him, Conlan, and it was just fortunate that obviously he was the home fighter. It was in BT Sports studio in there, sort of behind closed doors things. So he was sort of the house fighter, the home fighter when it comes to this thing, and that was fortunate. And it was very fortunate that he was winning the fight. He was he was the superior fighter technically in every aspect, but he let himself down a bit here with the low blows, and he ended up with having those 2 points taken. I mean, but literally apart from that, it's a fight where you can't really criticize him too tough, to be honest. Conlan, he boxed well. I mean, I suppose if you want to say one thing, you could argue that, well, a guy like that should have been, he should have been able to stop that guy by about the mid rounds or whatever. But again, not everybody's a big puncher. Conlan, he's a sort of crisp puncher, but he's not, I wouldn't call him an out and out sort of knockout artist, like a one punch KO man. So he's a guy that he can punch a bit, but he's definitely not what I would consider to be a puncher, and it's one of them things. But yeah, so he got the 2 points deducted, but apart from that, he was pretty much winning every single round. The Frenchman Takouche, he was making it a bit messy and it was a little bit awkward, but ultimately he was never really in with a real chance of winning a fight. You could see Conlan was sort of running things in this fight. Conlan was having it all his own way, apart from the point deduction. So, in the end, what ended up happening was round 10 comes about, the last round, and Takouche was still there. He was still in the fight. He complained throughout the fight about low blows, and in some cases rightly so. But the 10th round, Conlan continued to work his body. He brought his hands down a little bit, and then Conlan just threw a series of hooks, and in the end he ended up putting him away with a series of lovely hooks. And respect to Takouche, was still sort of on his feet, but there was one, I think it was a left hook that Conlan landed, which basically you could just see Takouche just separated from his senses. He just went wobbly. It was the ropes were sort of holding him up, and that wobbled him, and then Conlan just continued sort of wailing away at him, and the referee had no choice but to stop the fight in round 10. So he came into this fight saying that he's looking for a stoppage. He wants to win inside the distance, and if I'm in his shoes, I agree with him. You want to do that. You want to put guys like this away. And although he had to work very hard to put this guy away, he managed to do it in the end. So congrats to Michael Conlan on that. And then you had the main event, which was Carl Frampton versus his opponent, last name Trainer. I think it's Darren Trainer, something like this. And again, Darren Trainer, another guy, tough guy, lost to one of the Walsh brothers, the three brothers who all box. He pushed him hard and stuff, and he's coming in against Frampton, and again Frampton is a world-class operator. He's a guy that's won a few world titles before. Very, very talented boxer, and at this point with Carl Frampton, this is towards sort of the end of his career. This is the twilight period where now he's got to be just trying to take the big fights and sort of make the most out of what he's got left. And it was a fight where you could see there was a little bit of rust on Carl Frampton, but overall I think he did look pretty good in this fight. He looked how he sort of should look against this level of opponent. This guy was this guy's a sort of domestic level guy. So, throughout the fight, you could see, okay, there's levels here. You could see Frampton was the superior guy, the guy that, had the better skills, and you could see there was a big difference in class here between sort of Frampton and Trainer. And again, much like it was with Michael Conlan and this Takouche, Frampton was the superior guy, winning the vast majority of the rounds. It's one of them where it wasn't close in any respect. But again, he had to go through the rounds to get the victory. He still had to work pretty hard to beat this guy. Although the guy's a domestic level, and it ended up being, like Michael Conlan, ironically, it ended up being another 10th round stoppage where, Frampton throughout the fight started to land a few decent body blows, and he landed a very, very good body shot in the 10th and last round. I think it was a 10 round, so 10th and last round, I think. And from he landed that blow, I think he landed one in the 9th round, and obviously you could see Trainer didn't like it, and he got I think he got actually put down. Come to think of it, I'm just remembering now. But I think in round 9, Frampton was able to put the guy down, and obviously he was seriously hurt, and that was with a body shot. You had I think it was a right hook to the body, and then it was a left hook to the body after that, and those put this guy down, this Trainer guy down. And then when it came to the 10th round, commentary was even saying, well, you know, I bet his Frampton's team's gonna just tell him, get out there and finish the job. And you know, obviously I agree with that. You know, if I was in Frampton's corner, I'll be saying exactly the same thing. So basically, yeah, he went out there and he went out there to do just that. And you know, he landed, this time it was just a one shot. It was a beautiful left hook to the body, just bang, just cracked him in this guy's trainer's rib cage, just bang, beautiful left hook to the body. And I know from personal experience, even in sparring, you know, back in the days, you know, I've had people hit you with that and it just knocks the wind out of you. And it was interesting because Frampton hits trainer bang with this beautiful left hook to the body, and trainer literally quit right there on the spot. He just waved his glove like this, and just as soon as that shot landed, he just stepped back and just went, I quit. You know, from there it went, you know, the Roberto Duran way, you know what I mean, no mass. So yeah, so he just quit from there, and Frampton ended up being the winner by they call it technical count out or whatever it, you know, or technical knockout, whatever it's called. So, you know, Frampton ends up getting a result that I think is pretty good for him. You know, guys like that, domestic level guys, to be real, in my opinion, you want to be stopping guys like that. You want to be, you know, completely dominating and getting guys like that out of there. So both Conlan and Frampton, they done a job on these guys, and you know, they can now move forward to bigger and better challenges. And until next time, this is MKO Pugilism, over and out. Remember to like, remember to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.